finally we have broken out above this to get in again to ride even more upside right over here. Well, that could lead that reversal move all the way back up. Breakout trading, one of the very powerful ways to really ride massive gains in the stock market, especially if the breakout is in the right direction as the trend. All right, so how do we utilize it? What are some of the top stocks perhaps where we could see signs of a breakout as well? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier advisor, trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be talking about this strategy called breakout trading that you definitely want to utilize as well. That's where you could see some really good movement in the stock, and that's how you want to be positioned to ride stocks like this. So I'll dive into my whiteboard before we look at some live case study as well, all right, to see whether can we spot any stocks that is potentially showing a breakout soon, or maybe they have already broken out, all right, and perhaps heading even higher as well. So let's dive into my whiteboard right now. And guys, if you like this video, go ahead to give me a like if you found some value eventually as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button as well, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this, and it will definitely help out this channel as well. So what is the meaning of a breakout? Well, essentially a breakout would just means that the stock has been kept below like a very key resistance level, whereby many times it hits to that level and starts coming down, and finally it will to break out of that level, break out of this price level. This is what we call something like a resistance, whereby it's free to go even higher. That's what we call an upside breakout. And same thing, we have a downside breakdown as well. So if we have formed like a support level, whereby many times prices have touch it and rebound and touch it and rebound, but one fine day it breaks down this support level. Well, that is where there could potentially be more downside. That's called a breakout as well in the downwards direction. All right, so there are two directions in terms of the breakout, in terms of it pushing up if it breaks a resistance, or maybe even pushing lower if it breaks like a support level. Right, so let's take a look at my whiteboard right now. So let's assume that we have a stock that is in an uptrend. So I'll not talk too much about trend today, but essentially we want to try to take a breakout trade in the same direction as the trend as well, so that it is harder to be wrong. I mean, if it it's an uptrend and you break out in the upwards direction, that is better than a stock that is like in a downtrend and then you break out, you are like, if you enter, you're like going against the trend. Does it make sense? So you want to take a trade along the same direction as the trend. So let's assume that this stock is in an uptrend and we form a little bit of a resistance. As I mentioned, right, a breakout would be one whereby we find a little bit of resistance. It just couldn't get above this price level. So many times it touches, it comes back down, come back down, come back down. So we are kept below this resistance level. It's a horizontal resistance level, and we may even find a support level as well right over here. So when would be that breakout trade? Well, that would be when we were to push up, and finally one fine day, pump, all right, we break out above this key resistance level. So if the volume is strong on this day as well, that could be a good entry to ride more upside, whereby we could actually see more momentum in this stock pretty fast, right? And the next thing is that now as it breaks out, right, that's where it's like free to go, right? It's free to go even higher, maybe to a higher target, maybe to a next higher resistance level as well. All right, so that's a more aggressive entry to get in if it breaks straight away on that day, or maybe 1 or 2 days after that. But if you want, you can also wait for like a pullback. So most of the time, sometimes we might see a bit of a pullback. That means if a stock were to pull back down again, and this resistance level that we have broke out from would now turn into like a support level. So if it starts to pull back down, it could also give you an opportunity to get in again to ride even more upside right over here as it stays above that new support level. So that would be another confirmation of this successful breakout move, and that's where you could time your entry to get in, especially if you see some bullish candlestick there. So I'll not talk too much about candlestick, that will be for another video, but if you see like some bullish candlestick right over here as it retraces back down, or maybe as it were to do that breakout as well, all these would point to signs of a very aggressive upwards move. So let's take a look at another example. So let's say a stock is in an uptrend and we have found a little bit of a support here, same thing, maybe even like a resistance level. So we want to wait for a very clear breakout move, as I say right over here, all right? But sometimes it doesn't happen. So if we kind of like try to guess whether it will break up in the upwards direction. But if it breaks down, for example, it breaks down below this support level, so that's where we can see some selling as well. So when that happens, you want to have a plan to maybe reduce some exposure and get out as well. So this would be what we call a breakout to the downside, or like you can call it a breakdown of a key support level as well. So as it hits down and down, if a stock is still in a pretty good longer term uptrend, well, sometimes we may see like a consolidation again. So we might have found a support level again, all right, and that's where prices started to rebound, and as it consolidates, we may have another resistance level again. So where could an entry be? Well, if the stock is still in an uptrend, we could wait for this breakout to happen again. So for example, let's say now we were to break out to the upwards direction right over here in terms of an upside breakout, same thing, right? That is where potentially you could time your entry to ride the reversal all the way back up. So that is where we have a little bit of a reversal, a pullback, it consolidates, and now we are seeing kind of like a breakout to the upside, and that could lead the reversal back up again. So that's like pretty much two ways you can do like a breakout trading in terms of a long position. So one would be whereby it consolidates, it breaks higher, assuming it's an uptrend, you can wait for a pullback, and get in again if it dips, and then there could be more confirmation if this resistance become like a support level. We kind of like see some bullish candles, great, we can push even higher. Or we can wait for like a pullback, it breaks the support, comes back down, consolidates, wait for it to stabilize, maybe wait for the trend to even turn up as well. And if we do see another breakout above that key resistance, that could be another confirmation that this reversal is happening. It could lead it to retest its previous high. Like maybe right over here, we may kind of like push higher to retest the previous high and maybe consolidate again before attempting to maybe break higher again. So that's pretty much how it can move even higher. Alright, so let's take a look at some live case studies as to whether can we actually spot a breakout trade and what happened after a breakout, right? So this stock is called Nvidia, one of the very popular AI tech stocks, right, that has been in my watch list since last year. We have caught for it and we have staged a couple of breakouts. So let's see what actually happened after the breakout. So you can see, right, as it consolidates right over here. So we have seen for like Nvidia, it has been in a pretty strong uptrend, right, just by looking at the moving averages, right? So right over here you can see the 100 days moving average is up, the blue line, the 200 days moving average line is up as well. So sometimes in an uptrend it consolidates, that's good, it gives you an opportunity to get in, and potentially if it breaks even higher, it breaks out of the resistance, that's where you could ride even more upside. So that's where we have a little bit of a resistance right here, and maybe another line right over here as well for about that 400. That would be like a support level. So you can see, right, for Nvidia, just like somewhere in August 2023 all the way to like January 2024, right, we were pretty much consolidating sideways. Look at this, swing up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right over here. So we were kind of like kept below this resistance from about $400 to maybe around that $500, right, for about 5 to 6 months. And finally, as I mentioned, right, when we see a break above that key resistance level right over here, potentially entry could be taken. It's a bit more aggressive, right over here, but 1 or 2 days later you could get in as well, and you can see that that is where we really started to push all the way up, right over here, all the way up, swing down, it went even higher. So that's how we can see, there is what we call a very successful breakout move. In fact, for Nvidia, right, it didn't even like, pull back or retrace back down to test this new support level that is higher. It just went up and up. So sometimes a breakout move, especially if like the volume is pretty strong, all right, you can see, pretty firm upside happening very fast. The momentum just happens very quickly. All right, so let's see if there's another kind of like a breakout move. So you can see this is where we are right now, and we saw a little bit of a consolidation as well. So let me go ahead to draw this line right over here. That would be like a resistance line, and maybe we even have a support line right over here, maybe somewhere around that 750. So $750, you can see that $750 was pretty much that resistance level, right? That's where we actually put back down. So 750, the resistance, and yeah, maybe we saw a little bit of a breakout move. If you want to consider this like a bit of like 1-2 weeks consolidation, yeah, we did actually broke out above this 750. So you can see, right, this resistance became like a support level. So we actually swing up and down again. Let me just pull back this, swing up, went all the way down, went up, down, And you can see right over here, finally we have broken out above this resistance level at about 950 or maybe even that 1000 psychological level. So that's where we are seeing a lot of strength, something like what happened at 500 when it broke above, right? It just from 500 it went all the way to like $950, more than 80% upside in just about 2 months. So I'm not saying that it would do that again, but this is what we call like a breakout move. We can potentially see more strength, all right, in Nvidia, because it has broken out. It's pretty much free to go. We have consolidated sideways for like 2-3 months, and finally sellers have gave way. All right, pretty strong results announcement, and that's where we have broken out of these key resistance levels. So that's where we could see more upside, and when that happens, you can ride it stock, or you can take steps to protect your profits as push higher. All right, and raise your targets maybe from like 2002 or 2004. That could be like our next upside target. All right, so let's take a look at another case study. Right, so this is Meta Platform, one of the very popular stock as well in the technology sector in an uptrend. And let's take a look at Meta Platform right now. So you can see that these Meta Platforms is slightly different from Nvidia that has broken out of this key resistance, very firm uptrend, and has gone even higher. But for Meta Platform, we actually saw a little bit of weakness, where it kind of like sold off, and as we sold off, we find like a support level coming out again, and we are seeing some consolidation. It's something like what I mentioned over here. So Nvidia is something like this, right? In fact, Nvidia just broke out and it went up all the way. All right, it didn't really pull back. All right, now we are seeing like kind of like a breakout again. Remains to be seen whether we can hit even higher, but so far looks good. All right, as long as we stay above like the new support level, like the 950 or maybe even the 1000 psychological new support level. All right, so take note, right? As it breaks out, a resistance can potentially turn into a new support level, and that's where we want to stay above. So let's talk about Meta Platforms right now. So Meta Platforms, you can see that slightly different. We kind of like broke down the support, went down, and we saw some consolidation. So the key here is that can we actually spot this thing happening whereby it breaks out, right, above that temporary resistance level that we have consolidated maybe like for a month or two or something, and if that happens, that could lead the reversal back up again to retest the previous resistance level. So let's take a look at Meta Platforms. So you can see, right, for Meta Platforms, I've drawn this very key support and resistance. So this is a support level. In fact, since like March, April, we were holding above. We just gapped down, broke the support level, but you can see that now this support has turned into like a resistance level right over here. Over the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have seen selling coming back. We just couldn't get above this level, and this would be that $480 level, right? So that is a little bit of a resistance level. So if we were to break out above this level, so it hasn't really happened yet, right? It's like attempting to get above it, but sellers come back and push it back down, right? But there are some signs of the short-term trend turning up as well, just by looking at what we call the 20 days moving average. So as I mentioned, right, I'm not talking too much about trend, but this is one of the things we can look at as well in terms of the trend, not just in the longer term, but also the short term. So when we see the short term trend turning up, as seen by the 20 days moving average, and we were to break above this $480, that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, we'll see whether it happens. But if you break above it, volume is strong, well, that could lead that reversal move all the way back up, as I mentioned, and we might kind of like retest the previous resistance and maybe even break it, right? Eventually the $530 right over here, right? So that would be like the new the previous resistance level that we might retest again if we were to clear the temporary resistance level right now at about 480. So that would be like a breakout move as well. All right, one that formed after we have seen a bit of weakness, is pulled back down, but we've seen some consolidation. We saw a new resistance coming out, and that's where it could be a potential breakout trade to the upside as well. So another stock that could potentially stage a breakout as well. It hasn't happened yet, but it seems like it may happen soon, right? And this stock is Broadcom. Stock code is AVGO. So I'm not too sure when you're watching this video, but we may potentially see that breakout move. So guys, if you like this video so far, you gain some value, go ahead to hit the like button, the subscribe button, follow as well. That would definitely help out the channel. Thank you so much for doing this, right? So, and by the way, guys, if you want to find out in terms of the entire strategy, so now we're just talking about breakout, but there are other things that we're going to focus on as well, in terms of like patterns, in terms of indicators, in terms of some candlestick pattern, and how it all fits in together with the trend as well. So if you want to know my one good trend strategy, go ahead to click on the link below this video to find. I'll just place the link right there. You can register for this free webinar, about 2 hours long, and that's where I'll share with you guys the entire framework and even how we have a system to guide us as well to get in and get out, all right, when we are in the right direction as the trend, and even when we see like a breakout move as well. Right, so the link is right below. Right, so let's dive into this stock right now that could potentially stage a breakout, as we can see right up here. So I think we have formed a bit of a resistance somewhere over here, maybe around that 1,450. So it used to be like about 1,400, but I think right now you can see some resistance, maybe around that 1,450. Yes, indeed, right over here. So let me just go ahead to draw this consolidation. So when we see a consolidation in terms of the sideways movement, that would be good as well, especially if a stock is in an uptrend. So this stock is obviously in an uptrend. Yes, form what we call higher lows, right? Of course, from the moving averages, we can tell as well. But it's quite clear that we have seen some consolidation. So it swings down, swing up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Went all the way up, retested the same resistance, and now you can see that we are pretty much consolidating sideways, very, very near this 1,450 resistance that we have pretty much been below, I would say, since March. So about more than 3 months, close to 3 months like that. That's where sellers comes back and push prices down. So if we were to see a very firm move right above the 1,450, then it would be something like a breakout move in an uptrend in the upwards direction. That would be a good thing. We may start to push higher, maybe retrace back down, and maybe even push higher. So when we see a breakout move, especially if a stock is in an uptrend like Broadcom, even like Nvidia, that is a good thing because we are taking trades along with the trend. Plus now there's a breakout move, even better, we have pretty much gone out of that sideways consolidation that we have formed over the past 3 months, and now we can potentially move to a higher consolidation phase, even a higher target, a higher resistance level that can form as well. So after a breakout move, how do we know like how high can the stock move? Like where can we actually see selling coming back again, or where would that target potentially be whereby we might see some profit taking? Well, what happens is that after breaking out of a resistance level, we can look at previous prices based on whether there were any previous high or previous resistance level, and that could be where we may see selling again. But for example, like Broadcom, right, it is pretty much an all-time high, so there's nothing on the left to see because prices is pretty much at the high, right? So how can we get the next resistance, or where potentially some selling can come back again? Well, we can use the current consolidation phase. So for example, over the past like 2-3 months, as I mentioned, we will kind of like consolidating here from like about 1,002 maybe to 1,004 to 1,450. So that would be that range, right? And based on this range, we can kind of like extrapolate. So I'm not saying that this is 100%, but based on this range, we can kind of like tell that this stock is doing like a $200 to $250 consolidation. So if we were to kind of like hit maybe towards the $1,700 or maybe 1,650 around there, well, if after breaking this, right, after breaking the 1,450, that is potentially where some selling can come back again. Of course, if you see some bearish candles there again, that could guide you to get out as well. So that's how you could actually gauge where would be the next resistance, especially a stock that is in an all-time high and then there's nothing to see on the left. That's how you can do it to get that next target after a successful breakout move. So there we have it, guys. This is pretty much the breakout trading strategy. So I hope all of you have a clearer idea on how to spot a breakout, what to do after a breakout, and also how you want to be in the same direction as the trend when you are taking a breakout move, so that there's a higher probability of you being right? So if it's an uptrend, you want to take a breakout move to the upside, and of course if it's like in a downtrend, then you might want to take a breakout move to the downside. You can take like short positions to ride even more weakness. Does it make sense? All right, so that's it, guys. So I hope you like this video, guys. If you like it, go ahead to give me a like, subscribe, all right, and make sure you attend more of those free webinars that we're still running as well. The link is right below this video. Register for it, attend it, and that's where I'll share with you guys a little bit more on the entire one good trend strategy. So breakout is just one tiny part of it, all right, and we look at other things like indicators, candlestick, and all that. But breakout, how it actually fits into the entire one good trend strategy, I think you definitely want to know that, especially if you like this video, you found it useful, attend one of those free free webinars. The link is right below, right? So Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.